Beautiful brothers and sisters, welcome back to my channel. Sagi here. Good to have you all here with me today. Beautiful winter day. How to make decisions in life, how to become an expert on making decisions in life. This is the topic of today's video. And let's start by remembering the very key and important rule or the basic of any decisions making, and it will take a huge burden off your shoulder, is to remember we are stepping beyond right and wrong. We are stepping beyond good and bad. Those things are always happening at the same time. Therefore, we are stepping beyond that. We don't ask ourselves that question anymore. And if you've been following my videos, you have probably heard me speaking about this thing for many times. And if you haven't, and if you're new to this channel, first of all, welcome. Do check my previous videos where I speak about stepping beyond right and wrong, stepping beyond good and bad. So just remember, there is no right or wrong, or actually everything is happening at the same time, which means you cannot make a wrong decision. We cannot make a wrong decision. Let that sink into who you are. Let that sit with you. Let that anchor you down in this reality, and let that lift that burden off your shoulder. You cannot make a wrong decision. Every decision that you've made, and you've looked backwards on it, you might have thought, oh, I should have done this or that, or I could have done this or that. But the fact that you haven't means that it led you to where you are today. And where you are today is smarter, and is wiser, and is stronger, and is more empowered than you've been before you made that decision. Because everything that we do in life teaches us something, brings us forward. Even if it's on the wrong direction, or in different direction, or in a side direction, it brings knowledge with it. And that's the key. One of the keys to this universe is information. Its consciousness is based on information, receiving information, digesting information, and making and laying it as the possibilities, for future possibilities, by gathering information. So we gather information with every decision that we make, and that's the most important thing. So the first thing is we go beyond right and wrong. We cannot make a wrong decision, which helps us already stepping out of that conjunction which we sometimes find ourselves in, that we don't want to make a decision because we are afraid of making the wrong decision, right? How many times have you had that in your life, that you were supposed to make a decision and you just couldn't, and you've preferred not to make a decision so you don't make the wrong decision, right? We are stepping beyond that. Now, that said, how can we become an expert on making decisions? The key is to use your brain and then to stop using your brain. Your brain is a computer. It's analyzing possibilities. That's its job. Its job is to gather the information and put it in categories. What worked for you, what didn't work for you, what was pleasant for you, what was unpleasant for you. This is how we also get down the line to right and wrong. But let's stay with pleasant or unpleasant, and let's say we'll stay with what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So the mind is gathering that information, and it can only gather information after the experience have occurred, or during the experience. Before you make the decision, the mind cannot make any final calculation about what's going to happen. It is impossible. And you've known that. You know that. You've made X amount of experiences in your life to know that the mind could have not foreseen all ends. So the mind is limited, and by that it's limiting you when you are giving it too much power. This is why all of my videos are about self-empowerment. It's about taking back that power. It's about stepping into the role of the maker in your life, the creator. It's about sitting behind the wheel and driving the car and not letting your mind, which is a navigation system, drive the car, right? We have a navigation system, but still we make the calls, we call the shots, we make the decisions. The reason is, how many times did the navigation system did not know about something that was happening, or was not up to date, or this and that, right? So there needs to be a conscious mind that makes that decision, and not a navigation system. Your mind is a navigation system. It can tell you, give you information that is only relevant about your past experiences, never about your future experiences. So you allow your mind to give you that information, and you make the decision by taking down that information, bringing it to your heart space, and pull up the intuition, your gut intuition that knows as well where you need to go, what you need to do, what you need to be aware of, and you allow the decision to come from your heart, which means it's the culmination point. It's the conjunction of your intuition, your gut, and your mind providing you information about past experiences. The more you do that, you become an expert. You have to start making that process and feeling comfortable in making such a process in order to become an expert. Now, we've spoken about sheltering off your brain, letting your brain give you the information and then telling to the brain, thank you, you've done your job, now I am the one that's going to make the decision. How do we do that? That is as well plays a key role in making decisions. There is a point where you have to turn off your brain, because your brain will continue throwing at you scenarios. It wants to serve you, and it knows the only way to how to serve you is to throw information at you. That's the only thing that it can do, remember? And it wants to serve you so much that it will continue throwing information at you until you are overwhelmed. And you can easily get lost in that information. There's going to be too much information. So it's beautiful. So know how to stop gathering information by saying to your brain, when you feel that point of, wow, this is already overwhelming, or just before that point, and you tell your brain, stop, thank you. And that needs to be coming from a conscious place, a very aware and self-empowered place that tells the mind, stop. Stop. Just like pressing the off button on any device. You do that, you take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath together now. You take that deep breath, and as you release, you anchor yourself down into this reality. You literally allow your mind to stop and your awareness to sink from this place, to sink down into the chest area. And you do it as often as you need to do it, as often as you need to take those inhales and those exhales that relaxes you, that takes off the burden of the shoulder, that brings your awareness down to your chest. Just by doing this, and by allowing your awareness to feel this area, you can even anchor yourself lower than that. If you need to balance yourself out, if you feel that you're too much in your head, concentrate on your feet, for example. Feel the earth under your feet, consciousness on your pelvis area. If you are sitting, then feel your weight on the chair or on the sofa or wherever it is that you're sitting on the floor. Allow that anchoring down, and that anchoring down will do miracles. First of all, it will calm you down from that churning. It will bring your heart rate. It will lower your heart rate. It will allow you to feel yourself and to feel your body and to come to a very quiet and lucid space. And this is where you want to make the decision from that space. There is that space here, which is too much information. There is that space down here, the gut area, which is impulsive, which is reactive. This is also not the space where you want to react from your emotions. You want to bring those together. You want to be able to feel your emotions and to read the information coming from there. You want to be able to read the information coming from your brain, and you want to mold them together in your heart space and make the decision from that quiet space where tranquility governs, where you are clear, and where you understand that there are two things that pulls you: your emotions and your brain. Both are trying to pull you, but you are the master. You are empowering yourself, and you're taking charge of your own reality, and you allow your emotions to be present and your mind and the information to be present. But whoever makes the decision is the whole person, which is you, the one that can gather both, the one that can put both emotions and intellect. And the more you do that, the more you tap into these resources of breathing, conscious breathing, the more you can allow yourself to relax before you make a decision, the better. Take the time with the decision. Remember that you might take too much time. Don't prolong. Don't procrastinate. Don't fall into non-decision making, because this is a decision by itself, and it means handing the decision to the universe or to your higher self, but being disconnected to it, and the decision will be made in the end. So you want to be the conscious mind, the conscious awareness, the conscious person that makes that decision by, on one hand, taking the time, and on the other hand, not procrastinating, not taking too much time. You want to allow yourself to relax your emotions. Your emotions, your intuition is the one that wants to jump in and to make the immediate decision. If you're that person, then you need to allow yourself more time. You need to calm down. Use your breath for it. If you're, on the other hand, the more intellect, more brain personality, where you overthink things, then you need to take shorter time with making decisions. And it will help you to remember that you cannot make the wrong decision. So whatever decision you made, and that's the next phase. Once you have made a decision, or at least once you have made a decision to make a decision, that's when you do it and you don't look back. That's important. We don't look back on the decisions that we've made, at least not until they have fully unfolded, at least until we have fully experienced the reality of them, the effect of the cause. The cause is making a decision, and until we have fully received the effect and lived it, we do not look back and we do not try to change things. We understand that the decision is final, that decision came from a conscious state, and we step into it. That's key. Another element that I can give you as a final element, which is important, remember that the two motivations of life is fear and love. Is what attracts us, what we want more of, love, and what repels us, what we are afraid of, fear. Those two have the same power. They are both so powerful that they can manifest reality. Now, if I ask you, where do you want to work from? Where do you want to create from? I'm sure, and I hope so, that you choose love rather than fear. We oftentimes make a decision based on fear, and we are not even aware of it. That's actually fear. Fear is not being aware of something, not having information about something, not having a light, not having the light. That's why it's fear. It's darkness. It's the unknown. So, ask yourself, before you make a decision, am I making this decision out of fear or out of love? Am I making that decision because I'm afraid of something and I want to reject something and I want to negate the other option? Or am I making the decision because I truly love and respect who I am? Because I truly care about myself and about the people around me? And if you're not sure if you're making the decision from love, then take a bit more time. Take a bit more time and ask yourself, what is it that is truly important for me? And go beyond, with whatever your mind is capable of doing. Allow your fantasies to reach as far as possible, as far as the imagination allows you. Ask yourself, if this was a perfect world, what decision would I have made? What do I really want for myself? If this was the perfect world and everything is going to occur exactly as I want, what would be the decision that I want to do, or I want to make? Let that be present with your decision making. Allow yourself to expand your reality beyond what your brain allows you to think logically for. The brain is always showing us what is logical and then try to negate what's not logical. But look at the history. What was possible 20 years ago is not what was possible 50 years ago. What is possible today was not possible before 10 years ago. Reality always exceeds logic. Imagination always exceeds logic. So please, don't let logic stop you. Allow your imagination to fully present to you what is capable, even if you're not sure how it is capable in this physical reality right now. Allow your imagination to show you that path, because this is actually where we always want to go to. This is where we want to expand to that place which is grander, which is more sufficient, and the heart always leads us to that point, to that place. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being with me. If you like that video, do press the like button, subscribe to the channel, send it to a friend. Help us, me and my team, provide more of this to you and to everybody else out there, because this is all about self-empowerment.